Good evening. On the world news tonight from BGI Television, I am Morire Rabila Lawal. First, the headlines. Tinubu approves 683 billion naira as 2024 intervention fund for public tertiary schools. Tinubu's minister, Matawali, not above the law. Anti-corruption agency EFCC vows to revisit alleged 70 billion naira fraud case. Supreme Court reverses sack of Governor Yusuf, affirms his election. Nigerian Bureau of Public Procurement document reveals TCN CEO Abdulaziz violated procurement law in 5.7 billion naira. Moving on to sport. Real Madrid identifies Super Eagles star as transfer alternative to PSG star Kylian Mbappe. The news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has approved over 600 billion naira as the 2024 intervention fund for public tertiary schools in the country. The Executive Secretary of Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, Soni Echano, made his disclosure on Friday at the fund's strategic planning meeting with heads of beneficiaries institutions in Abuja. According to him, from the total of 19.75% is earmarked for direct disbursement, 8.94% for some designated special projects, and 2.27% is budgeted for response to emerging issues. He also disclosed that each university shall get for the year 2024 intervention cycle the total sum of over 1 million naira, polytechnic, and over 1 million naira, while each college of education has 1 billion naira. The intervention fund is expected to go a long way in addressing the decades-long call for better funding of schools in Nigeria. Lecturers in the country's public schools have often resorted to strikes to drum home their demands, which also included better pay and improved facilities for learning institutions. In late 2022, university lecturers suspended an 8-month strike over pay, welfare, and crumbling facilities, the latest industrial dispute to eat Africa's most populous nation. The strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU had shut down federal government-owned universities since February 14 that year, despite talks with the government to find a truce. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) on Friday said it would revisit the probe of the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Mutawalli, over an alleged 70 billion naira case of money laundering while he was Zamfara State Governor. Mutawalli was Governor of Zamfara State from 2019 to 2023. His tenure was dogged by allegations of mismanagement of public funds and resources. The people of Zamfara State have expressed their concern over the lack of development in the state and the need for accountability in public offices. A group under the aegis of Voice of the Voiceless in June 2023 staged a protest at the EFCC headquarters in Abuja to demand the arrest of Mutawalli. The group, led by its chairman, Nasiru Ismail Adoka, urged the anti-corruption body to reopen its earlier investigation into Mutawalli's tenure, which could not be concluded because of the constitutional immunity clause protecting the governor at the time. To Supreme Court cases as regards some governorship election, and issues. The Supreme Court has upheld the election of Abba Yusuf as Kano governor, reversing the decision of the Court of Appeal and Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal, which sacked the governor. Justice John Okoro, who read the lead judgment on Friday, said the Court of Appeal was wrong in affirming the decision of the tribunal, which held that Yusuf did not win the majority of lawful votes cast in the governorship election of March 18, 2023. In determining the case, the Apex Court received two issues: whether the lower court was right in deducting 165,616 from the votes of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) announced for the governor, and whether the lower court could determine the issue of party membership. In the judgment, Justice Okoro held that the tribunal was wrong in deducting the said votes accrued to Yusuf in the election on the grounds that the ballot papers were not signed and stamped by INEC staffs. According to him, Section 71 of the Electoral Act relied upon by the tribunal to deduct the disputed vote does not apply in the instant case. The Supreme Court panel of 5 justices subsequently went ahead to restore the deduction of 165,616 votes to reinstate the victory of Yusuf is the governor of Kano State during the governorship election. On the second issue, the Supreme Court again faulted the Court of Appeal for holding that Yusuf was not a member of the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, as of the time he contested the poll, adding that the issue of nomination and sponsorship is a pre-election matter and outside the jurisdiction of the court.
Right here at the premises of the Supreme Court, the governor of Kano State has just been affirmed as governor of the state. Your Excellency, how do you feel about this landmark government?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I felt extremely happy with the judgment of the Supreme Court that took place today, 12th of January 2024. I feel extremely happy. As you can see, so many people are happy. They are cheering. They are feeling obliged. So I feel happy.
Now, they deducted 165,000 of their votes in the tribunal, but the Supreme Court said that is illegal. How do you feel about that, sir?
No, the Supreme Court have confirmed that there was no any illegality as far as the election is concerned. They were saying illegal ballot papers. INEC had confirmed that the ballot papers belonged to them. They were issued by them. And the Supreme Court justices have just confirmed also that there was no any illegality. So people are aware, and I feel justified. I feel that that issue has been set aside because there was no justification whatsoever in that.
What is your message to people of Kano State at this
Well, my good people, the first thing is to say a big thank you to everybody for all the support, the prayers they have been rendering for the last 7 months of administration. Not only Kano State people, but the entire good people of Nigeria, as well as other people across the globe. So I just want to say a very big thank you to everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
A document from the Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP, has revealed that the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdul Aziz, violated the Public Procurement Act 2007 in a money laundering works of contract award. Information in November 2023 reported that Abdulaziz had allegedly been involved in the violation of the provision of the procurement award of running into billions of naira, including contract splitting. Sources said that the most of the contract the MD awarded under emergency procurement were not emergency in nature, and that he awarded most of the contract to his friends, who most in turn pulled out of the funds and remitted such to him. Though, when contacted, the company denied any wrongdoing. A document in which the BPP reviewed and responded to TSTN's request letter for no objection for 285 contracts it awarded on the emergency process showed that the Bureau refused to grant the request and clearly stated that the company violated the Procurement Act in 33 of the contract. The Bureau pointed out that the 33 contracts the TCN awarded on the emergency process were not qualified to be emergency, according to the provisions of Section 43 of the Public Procurement Act 2007. According to the document signed by Babatunde Kuya on behalf of the Director of the Bureau observed that out of the 285 projects executed through the emergency procurement method, 255 projects met the requirement for the adoption of the special method, while 33 projects should have been procured through other method of procurement as indicated in the table above. Moving on to the next story, human rights lawyer Femi Falana has asked President Bola Tinubu and state governors to reduce their entourage locally and internationally so that Nigerians would know that the question of sacrifice has started from the top. Speaking on an interview, Falana specifically urged the president to further reduce his travel entourage from 60% to 40% to reflect the state of economy in the country. Falana said while it is commendable that the government is starting to cut costs, there are other areas where resources could be saved from wasting away. I once traveled and I was in one of the embassies. I lightened the need for sacrifice in the face of a poor economy. Falana said that it is time for the government to tighten its belt after telling the poor to do the same for years. On the issue of security, Falana said since 1999, the state governors have abrogated their constitutional responsibilities and handed over police powers in Nigeria to the President and to the Inspector General of Police. Similarly, human rights activist Femi Falana has described the warning by the Nigerian police force urging youth to refrain from using the trending slogan, "No Gree for Anybody," as laughable. Falana said police cannot ban the expression, which he said constitutes no threat to law and order. "I no Gree for anybody" is an expression of antiquity, and the police cannot stop or criminalize it. When President Bola Tinubu came to Lagos recently, Nigerians expressed their feelings to him that there is hunger in the land. Former second Vice President of the Nigeria Bar Association, NBA, Dr. Monday Ubani, also cautioned that while the police have the right to ensure peace in the country, it should not become a ground to infringe on the rights of the citizens to express themselves. In doing that, there must, however, be a balance. If people are expressing themselves without ulterior motives or the expression degenerating into a security threat, it will be wrong to infringe on people's rights to express themselves. Moving on to the next story on the world news so far. A Lagos State civil servant, Mrs. Rowlat Ibrahim, yesterday told a Lagos High Court that the title of Ezendibo of Ajao Estate, claimed by Frederick Nwajago, is not recognized by the Lagos State government. Led in evidence by Director of Public Prosecution DPP, Dr. Babajide Martins San, Mrs. Ibrahim, who is a third prosecution witness, said that the defendant did not follow due process and not recognized by Lagos State government. According to her, there is no Oba or chief in Ajao Estate recognized by the state government. Nwajago is standing trial on a 9-count charge bordering on an attempt to commit act of terrorism, financing terrorism, participating in terrorism, and meeting to support a proscribed entity. He was arrested by operative of the Department of State Services, DSS, over an alleged threat to invite members of the indigenous people of Biafra to Lagos to secure properties of the Igbo people in the state. The defendant had on July 25, 2023, applied for bail, citing his medical report, adding that he was not a flight risk. From Lagos to Abuja, bandits said to number around 40 stormed the Kawu community in Buhari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory and abducted 23 people. Speaking after the development, the councillor representing the area, Abdulmumin Zakari, who is the deputy speaker in the council, said the gunmen arrived at the community from Kuyeri Forest in Kaduna State. They divided themselves into groups and some went into the palace of the district head, Abdurrahman Ali, where they abducted his son, Lukman, and his wife, whom he married 2 weeks ago. Others attacked the compound of Al-Hassan Kawu, the Marafa of Kawu, and the former PDP chairman of Kawu Ward. They abducted him along with his 4 children. He further revealed that the bandits also went into the compound of the Serkim Pawan Kawu, Gambo Power, and abducted him alongside his 2 wives and some children. The FCT Police Command spokesperson, SP Josephine Ade, confirmed the incident to newsmen while noting that assailants raided the area and escaped into Kaduna State. Back to Southwest. Detective from the Ondo State Police Command have arrested 2 suspects in connection with the death of an Akure socialite, Adebayo Oladoyinbo, popularly known as Sebayo. The 2 suspects include Eltelia Adeojo Ilesomi and Atinuke Adeniyi, who was reportedly with the deceased before his corpse was discovered in the Ijapo area of Akure on December 10, 2023. Speaking on the arrest, the state's police public relations officer, Fumilayo Odulami, explained that the suspects were arrested after a thorough investigation. To foreign story. A military tribunal in the DR Congo capital, Kinshasa, has sentenced 15 people to between 5 and 10 years in prison for financing terrorism through the illicit gold trade, their lawyers said Thursday. Those found guilty were among more than 20 arrested last May in Bukavu, the main town in conflict-torn South Kivu prison. Soldiers had raided gold shops in the town, 12,000 kilometers east of Kinshasa, confiscating computers, safes, dollars, and the valuable yellow mineral. Finally, sports. Real Madrid have identified a Nigerian international as a transfer alternative to Paris Saint-Germain star Kylian Mbappe. The Spanish giants have been on Mbappe's transfer radar since the France international's days as AS Monaco, but have failed at every attempt to bring him to Spain. The 25-year-old's contract with the Parisians will end this summer, and he could join any team of his choice on a free transfer if he doesn't sign a new deal with the French champion. According to reports by Football Transfers, as per Goal, the La Liga giants are considering the move for the Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen, a transfer alternative to Mbappe. With the sports story, we've come to the end of today's world news. Before we go, some headlines. Tinubu approved 683 billion naira as 2024 intervention fund for public tertiary schools. Tinubu's Minister Mutawali not above the law. The anti-corruption agency EFCC vows to revisit alleged 70 billion naira fraud case. Supreme Court reverses sack of Governor Yusuf, affirms his election. Nigeria Bureau of Public Procurement document reveals TCN CEO Abdulaziz violated procurement law in 5.7 billion naira fraud. On sports, Real Madrid identified Super Eagles star as transfer alternative of Kylian Mbappe. For updates of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is Babagide Imo Television. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Bagide Imo with Alawi Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. Thank you for watching. Jumat Mufida to all faithful Muslims all around the world. I am Moriri Rabila Lawal. Good evening.